Greetings, programs. It's 9:30. It's the 23rd day of June. 23rd day of June, 2022. It's 63 degrees and again here at Site B. It's Thursday. Is there anything going on in the world of tabletop role-playing game? Yes, apparently the argument of D&D versus Pathfinder is a thing again. I didn't know there ever was an argument of D&D versus Pathfinder unless we go all the way back to the 4th edition days. And that's, just a completely separate story. I loved Pathfinder 1st edition. I felt it was the better evolution of Dungeons & Dragons at the time, as opposed to 4th. 4th was completely different. I will defend 4th. You know that. And my feelings on 4th are well documented. A lot of people abandoned D&D and switched over to Pathfinder during the 4th edition rules and the OGL stuff. Mostly because of the politics and the choices and all the bullshit that was around 4th. And so, despite what certain individuals will say, there's a couple years there where Pathfinder was number one. Pathfinder was selling more popular, getting more press. D&D 4th was just the ugly stepchild and just been, kicked to the curb. The beginnings of the player versus player physical confrontations were because of 4th versus Pathfinder, or 4th versus 3.5, or just, I don't know. I felt Pathfinder 1st edition at the beginning was great. It was perfect. It was a good segue between 3.5. We can all, Pathfinder 1st edition was 3.5.1. Say what you will about Pathfinder, it did do two things right. The number one thing Pathfinder did right was turn grappling, unarmed combat, martial arts, all that crap into a stat. Oh my god. I mean, I was playing 5th yesterday and we got into a hand-to-hand grappling fight with a guy who was bigger than us. And oh my god. It's like the fight was going so smooth. Everybody was, just on tap. The DM was on, tap with how he was running the bad guy. The few players that were there, me and the other guy, we were just working like a team. It was a well-oiled 3 rounds of combat until the unarmed brawl took place. And then everything just broke down to, what can and can't I do in unarmed combat and grappling in 5e? And oh my god, and I'm just thinking to myself right then and there, God, you know what I miss about Pathfinder? Unarmed combat, grappling, it was a stat. Easy, simple, basic attack bonus, BAB versus basic defense bonus. BDB, you roll your BAB, and if it beats the defense bonus, you win the grapple. That was it. And if you didn't win. That was it. Pathfinder broke all that mess down to a stat. Just why is this not a stat? It's a stat now. Bam. So much easier. I could forgive Pathfinder everything else because of that. The second thing Pathfinder really did well was it introduced us to this new art style. You can see an example here, right there, where characters actually looked like what our player characters look like. They had crap hanging off of them. I mean, look at the iconic rogue. I mean, everybody was like, oh, no rogue would ever look like her. She's got like 37 daggers on her, and she's got a short sword and things. It's like, yeah, no. I mean, if you ever played in a game with actual rogues, they totally look like that. I mean, you're carrying 20 daggers and 2 swords, and these all look like people on adventurers. Well, maybe not the females. The females are still too little scantily clad by today's current standards. But yeah, I mean, they looked like adventurers. They had crap and pouches, and they were still a little clean, but still, these guys look like what our characters look like, cups and pouches and bags. So that was another thing they got right. They made the characters for a while look great. Then Pathfinder got ridiculous, as we know, and then it switched over to Pathfinder 2. I don't know anything about Pathfinder 2nd edition. I have not played it. Some people have told me it's really good. Some people have told me it's not good. It's like, look, until I play it, I have no basis. I played Starfinder and I loved it. It was great. There's a lot of great ideas in Starfinder. I really enjoyed playing Starfinder. I'd play it again. So I don't know what the Pathfinder versus D&D argument is, other than right now D&D 5th edition is getting more press, mostly because of Critical Role and the other things that have spun off of Critical Role. And after, however long it was where Pathfinder was number one, and I'm sorry, yes, Pathfinder was kicking D&D's sales for a long time there, certain individuals. I don't see what the argument is. If we're doing Pathfinder 2nd edition versus 5e, I mean, they're completely different from what little I know about Pathfinder 2nd edition. So I don't see what the argument is other than who's getting the most attention. I mean, Pathfinder is doing great in sales. Last time I checked, it was in the top 5. I think it was number 2. Yeah, it's still popular. There's still people who play first. They're obviously, Paizo feel there's enough of a market that they're still marketing second, which I think is a mistake. I think they should just focus on Starfinder. But whatever. I guess they want to remain competitive with Dungeons and Dragons, even though they're kind of not at this point. So yeah, there's a Pathfinder versus D&D players thing going on, I guess. And I don't really know why. I mean, system-wise, they're completely different, so you can't argue which system is better, because Pathfinder 2 is such a completely different than Pathfinder 1. Pathfinder 1 is definitely different than 4th. I don't know if it's better than 4th. I mean, there's stuff in 4th that I love, but there's also stuff in 4th that was awful and clunky and just like, oh God, why? And there's stuff in Pathfinder 1st that I love, but there's also stuff in Pathfinder 1st that I was just like, oh God, why? Generally, I mean, I'd probably choose Pathfinder 1st edition over 4th just because that's what I'm familiar with. But there's stuff in 4th I loved, so I don't know. If I'm going Pathfinder 2nd edition versus 5e, I have no basis for comparison because I haven't played Pathfinder 2nd edition, so I'd choose 5e. If I'm going 5e versus any other game out there, well, obviously I'm going to choose any other game other than 5e. But if I'm on a desert island and the only game I can play is 5e, of course I'll play 5e. It's fun. I don't hate it the way other people do. I enjoy playing it. I love the fact that I'm playing it again. Other until you get to the combat and the grinding down and then, people not being prepared. But other than that, yeah. It's a good, fun game. I don't have any problems with it. So can somebody please explain to me why we're having a controversy between Pathfinder and D&D players? Because really, we should just, once again, all unite under one thing of just, we all want to play a game and have fun playing a game and not have these people tell us we're playing wrong or whatever. I mean, if you're enjoying Pathfinder 2nd edition, great. If you don't enjoy Pathfinder 2nd edition, I'm sorry. Let's do some research and find a game that will better fit what it is you're looking for. If you enjoy 5th edition, great. I support you. 5th edition's wonderful. If you don't enjoy 5th edition, great. Okay, let's do some research and find a game that will do what you want it to do and that you'll enjoy. If you are the, OSR versus 5th edition fight that is still being perpetrated, and the horrible, vile things the OSR players say about the 5e players, and the horrible, vile things the 5e players say about the OSR players, and everybody blames Wizards of the Coast or the OSR, and I'm like, yeah, no, the only reason this is still going on is because you guys keep feeding it. Really, if you don't enjoy 5th, go play your own game. Stop being angry at the 5th edition players. If you're angry at Wizards of the Coast, well, there's ways to address that anger without threatening to kill people simply because you don't like the color of their hair. Whatever. So I don't know. So if somebody could explain to me what the Pathfinder versus D&D current beef is, great. I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, if you're enjoying the game you're playing, who the fuck cares? If you're not enjoying the game you're playing, let me help you find a game that you are enjoying. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me where you live, Let's direct your resources to, what it is you want the system to do and what it is you're looking for, because it's out there. There's thousands of games. I mean, my collection is minuscule, and I'm still looking like I've got like 10 different systems. So yeah, that's it. If it's a thing, please let me know why. Till next time, I'm the Joe GGM. See ya.